Okay, time. Time is one of the biggest challenges. It's important to think about time as something you need to set boundaries and limits for. So, one of the first things that I want you to think about with time is in creating boundaries and limits for yourself. I am really terrible about this with work, particularly right now. Okay. We talk a lot about boundaries and limits in the world of kink. We go blah, 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 blah. I have these boundaries and I have these limits and this is my boundary and you're not going to do this to me. We think about it all the time. We give lip service to it all the time. And it's usually reserved for the things that we will not do or that we won't let other people do to us. But in regard to the time and the space that we need to give ourselves, we need to actually think about creating boundaries and limits for ourselves. And we need to think about sticking to those. We actually need to think consent violation. I know that sounds really radical, but if we are going to break a boundary and a limit with time, we are actually violating ourselves. I want you to think about that for a minute. Think about that. I'm going to say to myself, I'm going to stop work at noon. And I'm going to let myself have 30 minutes of devoted time in which I am going to read up on a kinky skill, or 30 minutes where I'm going to engage with my dom, solely focus on my dom. And then you work through those 30 minutes because I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to answer one more email. I'm just going to do one more thing. You have violated your own consent. Think about that. If we think about treating ourselves with more respect, treating ourselves with boundaries and limits, and that we are violating ourselves, would we do this? Would we violate someone else's boundaries and limits? Probably not, but we do it to ourselves all the time.